Hey class, this is Casey Powers, and today I'm going to try and predict the future using methods the ancient Greeks would have used, and see if there's really any claim to it, and if we can really know what lies in our future.
I can see the future!
The first method I'm going to use to try and predict the future is bibliomancy. Now, all of you know bibliomancy mainly consists of you ask a question to a book, flip it open, first line you read is what is the answer to your question, what your future is. So traditionally, you're supposed to use Virgil, but I figured this is, modern interpretation, so I'm going to be using modern literature. So let's just see what's in my future, shall we? We're gonna use Virgil, guys. That was... Okay, so how this is gonna work is I'm just gonna ask Virgil a simple question and see if the response accurately predicts the future. Okay, so what's the weather gonna be like, Virgil? And he gave his whip a crack. Well, that sounds to me like rain or a thunderstorm, so let's just see and wait for tomorrow and see if we get some crackling lightning or something.
Tomorrow.
Okay, so hey everybody, the book yesterday predicted that we're gonna have some really crappy weather today, and as you can see it's pretty sunny. There's birds chirping and there's not even wind, which is strange because we've had nothing but wind this past week. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that particular prediction was just false. Now, clearly that prediction didn't come true, or at least my interpretation of that prediction didn't come true, so I'm just going to ask some more straightforward questions, because, I don't want to rule it out just because of one bad prediction. So let's just see. Will I be at school tomorrow, Virgil? Pretty straightforward, yes or no. Let's see what we get. And the first flush of my youth was on my cheeks, and I hero worshipped all the Trojan leaders. So I guess that line can be considered a yes, at least through my interpretation, as long as you think of the professors, I guess, as Trojan heroes. I mean, it's kind of a vague prediction, and I think I'm just drawing into it what I think could be an answer, which I think is something that happens a lot in bibliomancy. We draw conclusions based on what we think might happen ourselves. So I don't know if we can actually say that this has any real value in terms of predicting the future. So the next method I'm going to try to use to predict the future is drawing of lots. I've been trying to think of a way to test this, and I figured, I have an essay I'm getting back tomorrow in another one of my classes, so I figured I'd draw lots and see if this method can accurately predict what grade I'm going to get. So I have here drawn out different pieces of paper with every letter grade ranging from F to A+. And I'll just draw one out and see if that matches what I get on my essay, so fingers crossed. Okay, so I have all the letters I had out written up. They're in this hat, shaking them around so it's nice and random. Now as another part of the ritual, I'm going to have to invoke the proper god and make sure I get a good response. So, O great and mighty Apollo, god of prophecy and of scholarly knowledge, please tell me, O great mighty God, what grade I shall get on my essay. C+. Well, let's hope Apollo's wrong, shall we? So, I got my essay back today, and here it is, you can see. That's my name on there. And so, going through, I was predicted to get a C+. I actually got an A- on it. I could have done better, but it's better than a C+, which means the predictions were wrong again. For my next attempt to predict the future, I'm going to use necromancy, summon a spirit into a willing volunteer, and see if it can tell me anything about the future. Now, the book says to use sheep's blood and cow skulls and all that. Well, I don't have any of that, but I do have some incense in a bear holder. So we're going to see if that's enough to get this to work, shall we? Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Now speak the magic words. Aman, Oanto, Lemautai, Ripto, Mantawi, Imanto, Lantau, Laptomi, Anakramak, Araptomi. Those are the magic words. We're going to see if it worked. Okay, folks, this is it. Spirit, can you tell me anything about the future? The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you! Well, as you can clearly see, the spirit failed to answer my question, so necromancy is a bust too. So, as you can see, my 3 attempts to predict the future have failed. Bibliomancy failed to predict the weather. Drawing of lots failed to predict what grade I'd get on my essay. And summoning that spirit just didn't tell me anything useful. So, I don't want to call it quits just yet. I got one more method I want to try. Melissamancy. It's something we talked about in class and it involves predicting the future with the use of bees. So, I'm lucky enough to live down street from a honey farm, and they were kind enough to let me borrow some of their bees for this experiment. Now, through a series of complicated technobabbles, I've managed to hook up the bees' minds to this printer here. And whatever the bees are thinking will be printed out here, and we'll see if that predicts the future. I think it's ready. Let's see what it says. Okay, I think it's ready. Let's see what the bees predicted, shall we? You are going to be stung to death by bees.